Alright, so this is going to be the last episode I record for today, but we're going to hop back in and we're going to work on the ship and change the controller out on the hideout to be a small grid controller for the solar array. So that way we can save a little bit of resource and maybe be able to put a large grid custom turret controller on the ship. And we're going to go forward with the artillery custom turret. And I might still slap a Gatling on the side. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and actually dock the ship up and turn the power off on it, so that way we're not wasting any power. There we go. There we go, and that turns everything off, so we don't have to worry about any power being wasted. The only thing is we'll have to turn the power on before we can recharge, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue. If I'm not mistaken, I still have bottles either in here. No, okay, so the bottles are still on the ship. So grab those bottles. Oh, I'm holding the wrong button. That's why I'm actually moving down when I was looking. Anyway, we're going to grab some oxygen. Hydrogen we should be fine on. We'll charge that up when we turn the batteries back on to recharge. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut down on the front of the ship here. We're going to remove the current artillery turret and the Gatling, and we're just going to cut back on some of this to redo the armor in heavy armor rather than the light crap we were using. I'm going to put the shells back in here.
Energy low.
One thing that I just realized is that with the batteries off on the ship, our survival kit doesn't have power, so we won't be able to respawn it if we die. So hopefully I'll be able to get back to the ship and turn power back on without any incidents happening. Should have plenty of time though. Never mind. Let's go over here and turn the batteries on.
Energy critical.
Okay, there we go. That'll work. I forgot I took the seat off. So, what I'm thinking about here is I could remove the hydrogen engine and move the oxygen tank back. And probably armor it a little bit better at the back end here. Because this is going to be taking a lot of fire from just having the turret up top kind of pushed forward a little bit. So kind of want to counter any additional damage that might be taken around this area by moving this back some. And we don't even really use the hydrogen engine at all, so we're going to just take this off and swap it for an oxygen tank here. And then O2 generator, I do actually utilize that, so I want to end up keeping this, but we're going to move everything out of it, just that way we can pop that out and organize our inventories here a bit better. We'll go ahead and take all the ammo and tanks out. We'll just go ahead and basically redo the entire layout here as far as the internals go, just to make it a little bit more resilient, I suppose, if we can do that. So there we go, we got those popped off, and I'm thinking now actually I kind of want the oxygen tank back into this corner here, kind of tucked down behind everything, so it's closer to the center, because if that gets hit, it's going to explode, and we certainly don't want that, so we want it to be a little more tucked away, a little harder to hit. Let's see, gyro here. Yeah, it's decently well protected. I think if anything's gonna come off before that, like, basically if the gyro gets knocked off, we're screwed regardless, so that should be fine to leave right there. These blocks here, I'm gonna check and make sure they're not dented or anything. Batteries are a little weak on there, but yeah, that one was a little damaged, I should say. We're going to take off the blinky light because it's just annoying to me. Keep that paired up. And let's see here. We can take off these and that. Make a little bit more room in case we want to add stuff to it. There on the sides. Let me go ahead and get my hotbar set up for this. So I need a oxygen tank. Now we need a cargo container. Let's see, we can do like a small modular container, I suppose. Well, okay, we don't have a small grid conversion though, so we can't really do that, but we do need like actual cargo storage. So what I'm thinking is we can extend cargo forward some, and then redo the armor blocks there on the sides. We'll have slightly smaller hallway to get into here, but I think it would be worth it for the ability to get that oxygen tank tucked into the back there. So we'll bring this up by 1. We can then put our new oxygen tank in right here, like so. We'll load this up as much as we can. And then grab the components. There we go. We'll finish up that oxygen tank. Alright. So that was just the unidentified signal moving. Now, in order to take this off, we need to allow it to connect through. And I think, no, I don't have the components for that, so we'll just go and do a conveyor junction, and we'll grab the parts for that. Go ahead, place it and mold in what we can. Just like that. Grab the parts. Fix that up, and then we can move the oxygen out of this tank and into the other one. Now we can do that by just go over this little menu here and turn on stockpile. And that should... Let's check this in here. Stockpile, yeah, stockpile is off. Blocks on. Should be what's happening is the oxygen should be moving over to this one, but it doesn't appear like it is, and it's just doing it kind of slow. So let's check out the actual menu here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's not actually pulling the oxygen over. Yeah, both of these are oxygen tanks, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see, actually, I think I have a multi-tool here. Yeah. So let's check this. Yeah, it should be connected, so I'm not sure what's up with that. I'm gonna place that either. So I don't know why this is not working. Let's try turn that down a little bit and replace it. Yeah, okay, now it's stockpiling, so it's pulling the oxygen from one to the other. In the meantime, we're going to drop all of our components, and we're going to fly out there for this unknown signal.
Energy low.
Alright, now we're gonna head back to the base, drop all the stuff off, recharge, and get back to work. The oxygen should be moved over now so we can take the old tank off and move some of the conveyors. Alright. Now we can take the old tank off. As well as this conveyor. You can come over here and switch the oxygen tank to turn stockpile off. And we can take off all of these connectors. Our grid will split. What's actually going to split if I take that off? I think it's this block here, which should be okay, I think. So I'll go ahead and take that off. Yeah, that should still be solidly connected. Okay, so we can still charge our power from here. And we have plenty of bottles, so we should be good as far as that goes. So let's put all of these components back. And let's take a look here. I don't know why I have the storage shelf. But we're going to take those off. I'm going to go for the, oops. So O2. O2H2 generator. Now we're going to slap this back on here. That's just because I feel it's pretty important to have oxygen generation on the ship. You know, actually, never mind. We're not going to put one of these on here, but we will put a O2 like farm or whatever. Yeah, we'll put one of these on. Let's see, which way does this need to go, actually? That's going to be kind of long. Alright. And probably fit it in the bottom. Yeah, I think we're going to scrap that altogether. Just because that's too large. We do need some solar panels on here. I'm thinking we'll go for left and right and put those kind of on the top somewhere if we can find a spot. What I would like to do is have it kind of like the sail, sort of, like the pirate ship look that we had before, but I'm not 100% on that. I might not do that. I'm thinking what I need to do really is just change the shape of this armor as well. So that way, I can get this better protected. Didn't mean to grind that battery down on me. But we need to get rid of that. And same on this side. So that armor is going to have to change. Compensate for that Kara being longer. We're missing some blocks over here. So I think it's... Wait, which blocks did they use? Oh, it's the ramp. Okay, interesting. So we're gonna grab the components for that. Fix this one up, and then put the other one on the other side. Ramp. That over here. Components for it. And we want to, nope, we want to rotate it. There we go. It's going to be pretty important to try to keep everything armored. Let's see what's missing on the bottom here. Not a whole lot. One other ramp, and then a half slope. Yeah. So we're going to grab the parts for another ramp. Get over here, there we go. And we need this ramp to rotate to fit in here. Just like so. Alright. And this needs better armor. I'm thinking about is maybe doing another ramp there. Not 100%, but need to take that off, and I'm assuming there's one on the other side. Yep. So I'm probably going to cover that with a panel. Try to help protect it there. And we also want to do away with that on the top. Because we need the top here to be better protected than what was already there. I want to protect this ion thruster a little bit more. Granted, it's still probably going to be shot out pretty easy, but better protection is always a good idea. We're going to do slightly more angled slope. Yeah, we're not going to do heavy armor. We'll do light armor on this. And what we can do is something like that. And then that maybe. Just to give it a little bit extra protection, but still have a similar kind of shape to it. I think that would look pretty good. And the ramps are decent enough protection. Good bit of interior plate. I think that'll be alright. Let's see here. Probably should charge up. Go hit up this unknown signal. Yeah, the rest of this is all just steel plate, and I don't want or need it, so we'll ignore it. Right now I'm just kind of looking at the overall design so far. I'm thinking about how I want it to be shaped. I don't want to go too far from the original, but just trying to think like if there's any changes I want to make to the overall shape at all. Um, I probably do want to have another cargo container on here rather than just having one, because more cargo is always a good idea. Yeah, that'll help provide a little bit of additional protection to the cargo container, but I'll still be able to access it. Alternatively, I could try to put like little blocks in on the corners there, but I think that's going to be a little bit more effective for what I actually want to do with that. So I think that's going to be pretty good as far as that goes. Now I need to figure out what blocks do I want to put into the ship as far as like connections that would be useful but
Energy low.
isn't going to hinder my ability to armor up that section, as well as anything that would hinder putting a turret on the top. Probably a assembler wouldn't be a terrible idea. And I can put that in sort of like that to allow for a connection on the top portion there. So I think that might work.
Energy critical.
I feel like the assembler is a pretty sturdy block overall, so I think that would do good as the base for the turret. Like actually have the turret connect to that. And I think that would be alright. The survival kit, I kinda wanna move it. Probably like in here would be a good place for it, and I can put, I already got an O2 tank, so I can put something in between here to connect up the survival kit and have that like actually inside the top of the ship here and put like some extra armoring on it or something. Granted, it might be a good idea to have it kind of a little bit away from where the turret's going to be. So like what I'm imagining is like the turret come up here and kind of shoot off this way a little bit, and if it's going to be shot at from most angles, the survival kit being here is kind of out of the way. And it doesn't really matter whether this can fill the bottles or not. As long as it doesn't get destroyed. So that should be fine, I think, there. I could move it back one, I suppose. Just that's a little bit further back and won't kind of be in the way of where I want to put my seat. If I move it back, though, I won't be able to connect it very well. Not sure here. I could do another storage container right here. Right? Storage container here, and then maybe one here. And then we'll have extra storage for components. And we have a assembler, so we could do like a O2H2 generator there with 2 containers, and then do like the conveyor thing like the original had, and kind of keep it in the same profile, I suppose. And that would probably work out pretty well. So let's grab components for 2 more cargo containers and put those in. I went with the reinforced because it's got a little bit extra survivability than a regular one, which is going to be pretty important for the fact that we're why was that not able? Oh, because I turned the assembler off. Huh? There we go. Alright, I think this is going to be pretty good. Kind of structurally, it should be fairly resilient. We're going to do more armor plating across the top here. And we're going to need some armor plating on this side. So that should be pretty good for that. Now we can go and have this unknown signal if I don't kill myself on the way. That was really good. We were actually pretty low on computers, so that's a decent find there. And the rest of us is still plates, so we'll go ahead and head back. That's what I think our fourth one since starting the gameplay again, so we should be at about like what 45 minutes, I think, something like that.
Energy low.
Alright, so I think the new design's taken shape a little bit. We got cargo here, it's kind of protected from the sides. We got the front of the ship taking shape a little more. I might change this again. I know this needs to go, so I can actually put some functional armor along the side here. That should be okay. I think right here on this side is where I want to sneak in the large custom turret controls, which I should be able to go ahead and do. So let's just take those out. I want to do a rotor. So I'll grab that. Then we want the turret controller. And we can switch that between large and small grid. And what we want over here is to do rotor somewhere on here, probably, I guess right here would be fine. So we can do like that. Now we can grind that off and weld this up. I didn't mean to click out of that. So yeah, that should work just fine. If there's any issue with it, like stop tracking and everything, I can just add a couple timers that activate each other and just turn the block behavior back on. Like just switch it between on-off, and what that should do is if it loses tracking or whatever, like if it does break because the controller's on a separate grid, that would just re-enable it and cause it to start tracking again. But now we should have more power generation than what we're using, which I think is true. We can, in fact, check it. Never mind, we can't check it. Not there. Let's see here, what do we got? Yeah, so when the sun's overhead, we're actually recharging, which is good. I don't know that it will last, like, in the long term, but we can keep an eye on it. If I need, I can add more panels. But for now, I think that should be fine. Now what we want to do is put our flight control back on here. So search here for a control seat. I think the helm might be a good option for this, though it's a pretty weak block. But we're going to have heavy armor on the front, so I think that would be okay. Plus, it should be easy on repairs as well, so... Yeah, I think this is coming together pretty nicely so far. We still need to work on the bottom and on the sides, and then to actually make the turret. Which, in fact, I can go ahead and start working on that now. And for a turret, we want the advanced rotor. We're going to want a hinge, and we're going to want the cannon, which was the artillery, and this should be just the basic blocks that we need to be able to actually throw a turret together. Oh, I am forgetting one thing, which would be the camera, and I would prefer to use a top mounted. If I have to, I can use the other one, but so we already have the components for the top-mounted camera. So we need components for this, components for the hinge, and for the rotor. I think we might have enough to do that, so we'll go ahead and we'll start placing stuff. So we want the rotor, and then we want a hinge to go on this. Want facing like that, I think. Let's see, where's the notch on it? I don't know which. I think the notch should be on the right side of it. And then we want the, nope, not the camera. We want the cannon, and we want to face it this way, like so. And actually, if I put it upside down, I should be able to put the top-mounted camera on the side I want to, but we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, I can't place it there or there, so it's going to have to be upside down. But if the camera is upside down, I think that messes with the turret, like aiming and stuff. but it might be fine. We can just put it there, and if I need to, I can just reverse controls. But we'll go ahead and start welding this up, and then set it up with turret controller and check and make sure it actually functions. So my alarm just went off. We're out of time now, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish building all of this if I can. And we'll see if it works. Can't withdraw 2 computers. Thought I got more of those. Guess I used them all. Okay, so that should be everything needed for the actual turret itself. Now we just need to come over here and program it. Alright, there we go. We'll just have to keep in mind that if we ever manually control this, that is going to have inverse controls. One thing that would be a good idea is maybe change a couple things around to make room to have this end set instead. I'm not sure the best way to go about doing that. Because I'm looking at it now and I didn't, in my head, like I knew it was going to have to come up some, but I wasn't expecting it to look kind of wonky like that. But I mean, that should be okay, I guess. One thing that I could do, well, I don't know, it'd be kind of a pain to do, but I could cut this out and where the landing gear is, scrap that, put the turret on the bottom. But I think that should be fine. And if the weapon's going to draw fire, it's going to draw it hopefully away from the ship. If anything's above like this, there's a good chance it might hit the single ion thruster we have right here. So I might change the armor that we have here to be, instead of that flat piece, just put like a blast door or something. And that would probably protect it a little bit better. I mean, it's just a tiny bit that's kind of showing, but I mean, still, if weapon fire is intended here and we're moving forward, it could very well hit that ion thruster and take out one of our direction of thrust. Hopefully that won't ever happen though, but now one thing that I did see that was kind of cheaty to do, but works decently well, is on the front of your ship you can put a rotor with a stick going both ways and decoy blocks. Because the way that the decoy blocks work now, used to it wasn't like that, but now if the decoy block is the first, like the closest block to an enemy turret, it'll target a decoy block. But if it's behind anything else, whatever's closest will get targeted first, right? But if you put it out in front of your ship with decently long arms and have it spin, then almost all of the weapon fire is going to completely miss you, because that's going to be aiming for the decoy blocks, which are off to the sides of your ship and moving. So they're going to have a really hard time breaking those decoys. So basically it would be like a near perfect shield up until those decoys get destroyed. But I think I like the way that this looks pretty well. One thing I might change is this block here. I might make that a full block instead, and kind of provide a little bit more protection. It'll limit the field of view a little bit more, but I don't think that's really going to matter too much since I tend to use third person. It's kind of like my preferred method there, but we can get in and out of the ship just fine. We got a decent amount of protection on our cargo containers. Just a tiny little sliver there where weapon fire could get in to hit that cargo. But it's such a small window, I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. I think instead we'd have to worry about splash damage taking out this ion thruster and these blocks first. And if that happens, we're pretty much screwed regardless. So I think this is a pretty decent design so far. I'm going to put everything that I can. Yeah, that should be good. We're going to go and get that unknown signal real quick, and then I'll go ahead and end the episode. So I mean, not too much exciting happened, but we did make some decent progress, if I can speak correctly. There's a sore spot on the side of my tongue, which is making me slur my words more. I kind of bit it earlier when I was eating, but you'll just have to ignore that. But yeah, I think we made some decent progress. So far, it's not too bad. This one's actually trying to get away. Interesting. Let's go ahead and grab that. Magnesium, that's perfect. The only thing I need now is one of these with like a reactor on it, so I can get a small amount of uranium and make some more artillery shells, because right now I think I only have 2. Oh, I should have some ice in that? No? Okay. I was hoping, but... Go ahead and take that block. That right there. Take the gyro. And the rest of this doesn't really... But, yeah, so far, that's not too bad. The turret, personally, I think could use a little more work on it. It's a little bit vulnerable if the the rotor gets shot off, we'll lose the whole turret assembly. But, I mean, I guess that's kind of just the downside of having turrets like that. I could do a small grid one, but the small grid custom turret control is just much lower range. It's the same as the standard Gatling at 800 meters. So we don't really want to use that if I can help it. I'd like to have as much range as possible, because that's going to be our best defense against potentially dangerous wrecks, is just long range shooting the turrets out. And I mean, this might honestly be good enough just in manual at being able to do that, because I get a decent camera kind of angle on it. So if I go here to the helm, then we can do the custom turret controller. We can do let's see here, AI on off. We can do let's see, we want weapons, propulsion, power systems, and then we want manual control, which would be right here. I think that would be a decent enough setup on that. We want it selected for weapons, which it is, and then the control on it. Our view's a little bit blocked there. If we zoom in, it's not much of an issue. We just have to remember that basically we're aiming upside down compared to the ship. But I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. If we were to go right side up, it would look kind of wonky doing it like this, but definitely doable. We can bring it back around, and I think, yeah, that's aiming at the back, so I want to bring it this way. That should be lined up about right. But I should be able to kind of snipe off blocks using it like that. And that means we have much better defense on wrecks and stuff. But anyway, we're going to call it here. We still need to do quite a bit of work on the ship to get it fully set up. We can actually get to see the solar array functioning now. It's got a little bit of wiggle to it, probably because I didn't set up share inertia tensioner on it, which I could do actually right now, which would be the advanced rotor, and it would be the hinge. And now the little jiggle should go away, which it has, so that's good. Good to know that my changes actually did what I thought it was going to do. But anyway, we got oxygen being produced. Our tank over here should be... Did I turn this off? Tank on. Stockpile. Do I need to grind this down some and then retry? Probably. Now let's see here. Yeah. So it's kind of weird. It seems like these tanks need to be added after all the connections and everything are done. So it's like the oxygen tank needs to be placed last in order for it to register that it should be filling up. But anyway, got this working. We got our turret set up and mostly functioning. We just need to do the rest of the armor on here. I think I'm debating on whether I want to put a Gatling on this in addition. I don't want it to interfere with this turret, so it would need to be a little bit lower. I don't want to just slap it onto this plane here because I feel like it would be too high up. In fact, we can grab their Gatling right here. And yeah, see, if we put it directly in front, it's going to get in the way of our auto gun there. So maybe out on the front would be a good idea. Like we could put a connector here and put the Gatling out on the front, a little away from it. Because if I have it just directly up, that's just going to get in the way. And we don't want to shoot our own turrets. I don't think it'll do that, but we could like have it on the front, out this way, something like that, and then surround it with armor blocks. I think that would work, but let me go ahead and dump everything. We got another unknown signal, so I took too long talking. So we'll grab this up real quick, and then I'll actually go ahead and end the episode, because I think I've done enough of the overview monologue. Yeah, we're definitely over time by a little bit here, but I don't want to do anything off camera, so I want to make sure I grab this unknown signal before reloading, because I feel like that's going to mess with the spawns if I don't. It shouldn't, but still, I want to go ahead and get rid of that. Forget nothing out of it. Okay, that's cool. Make sure we grab all the fancy blocks off of here. Take the cargo. Take that parachute. And I think the, no, okay, those are just steel plate. It's these ones here. I noticed a lot of the stuff that's striped has more rare blocks in it, whereas a good bit of the stuff that's just a flat color is just stainless, or steel plate, I mean. So that's kind of interesting to keep in mind if you see any striped blocks on a unknown signal. Oh, I just realized I let go of the wrong button. If you go for the stripe blocks, it seems like it's going to have the more rare components, the better components in those versus just the regular armor blocks. One thing that's a bit concerning is I haven't seen any signals recently, or actually in the last couple episodes or so. So, just staying in one spot waiting for signals is not going to be a good way to find scrap. We're going to actually have to go out and travel, which is why I think it's a pretty cool idea to have these little hideouts dotted around, because then you can just travel between hideouts and pick up scrap along the way. And I think that's it's going to be pretty cool to do it like that. So I'll go ahead and charge up. In the next episode, I'll remember to grab a hydrogen bottle, I hope. And, I'll see you guys in the next episode. It'll probably be tomorrow morning. I'll probably do an episode. I don't know, it kind of depends on how I feel, because I'm going to get home at like 5, because it's technically Sunday for me. So kind of depends on how I feel when I get home. I'm not going to be working a full 8-hour shift. It'll be a 6-hour shift. But if I'm kind of feeling kind of tired, I might not actually do an episode. I might just kind of relax a little bit and put it off. But definitely within the next 2 days, there should be at least one new episode. But so far, we've done pretty good. This is going to be episode 6, I think. And 6 episodes in 2 days is quite a bit. So, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.